Hey, hey. What's up, everybody? Yo. Man, I gotta shave. Hey, hey. Echo. There's an echo? Is my mic acting up again? Hold on. Sometimes the connection gets a bit fuzzy. Does that work? Do I sound okay? You're fine? Nice, nice. Very happy to hear that. What's up? Hmm. Jack Sainsworth. I'll take a look. Hey, that looks good. That's beautiful. I like that a lot. The Frankenstein bill? I like that a hell of a lot. Artemy, what are you doing down there? What are you... Real voice. Artemy, what are you doing down there? Artemy started tweaking right at my feet like 10 minutes ago. He picked up these toys that have been just laying on the ground for months, you know, because they're everywhere, and started flipping them over and attacking them. Artemy. As long as he doesn't fuck with my cables. Yeah, he knows that a new baby is coming and he's protesting it. I have not seen the new Superman cartoon. It looks pretty cute, though. Anyone seen it? Is it cute? It's so good? Nice. I'm happy to hear that. I was happy to see, like, any representation of Superman that was more lighthearted and cutesy and uplifting, as opposed to this nonstop death march we've had for the past 20 years of Superman, like, trying to be edgy and gritty and shit. Wait, does Xander Hall not have a Twitter account anymore? When did Xan lose his Twitter account? What the fuck? No, he got banned. Why'd he get banned? Just submit. He got banned for telling a lolly Nazi to kill himself. Well, then why not submit an unbanned request saying I got canceled for my right wing beliefs? Doesn't that get everyone unbanned? He got rejected? Damn. How many times can you keep trying? You have to be able to keep trying, right? Free speech website. There's got to be a way. Anyway, Zan's not just on trouble in on YouTube. Or sorry, not just in trouble on Twitter. Zan has 2 false hate speech strikes on YouTube. Guys, we got a signal boost. We got a signal boost, guys. Okay. You got to help. Ameliorate those strikes. Get out there, boys. You got gifted a sub, Stairlight. Go, go, go. Sorry, my voice is My voice is a little bit more shot this morning, or this afternoon, because I did a lot of talking yesterday. More than I should have. It's your choice, Cleaver120. Anyway, I really hope that Zan gets the strikes rescinded. Yeah, but it's about trying not to cough, London. I saw Dr. Strange. Ugh. I'm new to the leftist space. Is Zan one I should get into? Yes. Xander Hall is a friend of the stream. Channel strikes are really fucking scary, man. Well, don't get him in trouble, Annie. Thanks, Annie. Been playing Tunic a lot, really enjoying it. Yeah, Tunic is great. Tunic is like a magical. Oh God. Come on. We can do a little more than that, can't we? No, Captain Gwendolyn. Yeah, I've played Dredge. Cough drop? I have a cough drop in my mouth right now. Mind giving your opinion on this as a disabled person? Because I don't really believe people go through life like this. What? Oh, you mean the people who try to excise literally all ableist terminology from their lexicon? Yeah, it's not actually possible. The problem is that it's valid to discriminate against people based on stuff they can and can't do, because people's abilities fall within stuff like emotional comprehension and ethical behavior. After all, the ability to like exercise ethical restraint, that's also an ability. Everything is an ability, you know? Like being discriminatory against somebody's race or gender, that's lazy shit. What race, gender, what even are these things? Social constructs. Ability is not a social construct. It's also worth pointing out, you know? I can imagine a society in which the boundaries between people's skin tones become meaningless and nobody even refers to them outside of like, well, some people have different skin tones than others. But a society in which there's absolutely no meaningful difference between physical and mental abilities, that's not possible. It's literally not possible. So, yeah, I don't believe this, like, you know, excise all ableist terminology bullshit. Just try to be kind to people. Damn, dog, why the fuck am I coughing so bad? Oh my God. Like hysterics, King Jar Jerk, I think, can go after a lot. You still use the R word and that's not kind. Yeah, but I don't call like Down syndrome people retarded or whatever. The people I call retarded overwhelmingly are like Nazis and shit. Who are like I just don't think I'm like meaningfully perpetuating a social stigma against a vulnerable class when I call Nazis retarded. I just don't think I really don't. Like, I've thought about it too. It's not just like, haha, I can say whatever I want, because there are words that I like try not to say. I could be plenty meaner in many cases. Okay. Dude, the cough is being a bit much right now. What the fuck is going on? Not being chill. I even have a cough drop in right now. What the fuck? Water doesn't help. No, stop. Stop. Don't. I don't want to see advice. Stop. No, this has nothing to do with water. Tums? No, not Tums. No. No, no, no. Drink piss. Copyright, vermin.
You don't call retarded people retards. It's bad taste. You call your friends retards when they're acting retarded.
That's true. This is unironically true. That's actually correct. Like unambiguously. That's that's a fair rule. Artemy, what is okay? I'm being distracted in all fronts right now. He just scraped by my foot while attacking this little dragonfly. Wait, hold on. Okay. Okay. Ooh. No, that's not. Ooh. What are you doing? All right. I guess he's content to simply block my blue light. He's staring directly into the blue light. Thanks, Artemy. Maybe Noos. What about you using the word schizo? You're not schizophrenic, are you? Yeah, for me it's kind of the same thing. I don't know. I feel like in a semantic and social sense, there's such a clear distinction between like the systemic problems that afflict differently abled people and using these terms to attack Nazis. That, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's different in a lot of ways from like if you like you can imagine if somebody in the opposition is acting like girly or whatever, you like make fun of them for being girly in like a sincere haha you're acting like a girl kind of way, as opposed to what a lot of people on the left do, which is this, oh, look at you acting like a girl, huh? See, look, even you can't help it. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of nuance to the like exact dynamics of using the wrong insults against somebody in a right way. And with the schizo thing, like I don't know, like are schizophrenic people really harmed by that? Like in a meaning, like are schizophrenic people in my audience, for example, like if I say that like foreign man to foreign land video is like schizo shit because it is, like are they harmed by that? May I just don't think so. Maybe they're offended by it, which I don't want them to be because I sincerely don't mean anything against them. It's just like a punchy word to describe in an evocative way. The video, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the problem is that there are also optical losses to fussing over the language too. You know. Excuse me. Oh my God, it's falling apart today. Artemy. Okay. See out of my hair now? Maybe you should start saying delusional instead. I do say delusional, but delusional and schizo don't have the same evocative meaning. It's not just that they have more oomph, it's that they mean different things. Like schizo implies a degree of frenetic energy. I'm really just stun locking right now because I'm hoping my cough gets better. God, literally, Zan. True, Vermin, though, to be willing to bet most people don't even know what the term schizoaffective means, right? A lot of people just think schizophrenia, but I guess there's a lot of stuff under that umbrella. Yeah, Vosh, don't label people that are deplorable and atrocious in every way as schizo. It signifies being a schizo. No. I don't say people are schizo because they're being bad. I say they're schizo because they're being schizo. It's not a synonym for bad. It's used in a different way. It's that there's this frenetic energy that they're jumping between shit. It's incoherent. Like that's the insult. That's the statement being made. It's not that they're bad. Like a person can be acting schizo and be like a generally good person. Or like schizo posting. Like people say schizo posting pretty often. That's what psycho is for? No, psycho doesn't mean that. Psycho means other stuff. When you say somebody's acting psycho, it's usually that they're acting like gleefully malicious or like or like with no regard for other people. It's not the same as saying somebody's acting schizo, right? Like schizo posting means something different. Nobody would say like psycho posting. But psycho is similarly ableist. No, they're all ableist. There will always be ableist terms. It is valid to attack people for not being able to do things, depending on what those things are. We need people in society to do things, like ethics and like mutual respect, social contract stuff. If people can't do like this is socially relevant. Race and gender, these are like ephemeral social constructs that won't always be like why attack people on that? It's dumb. Ability, though, that's a whole other thing. Is Anna a schizo? No one's a schizo. It's not a real term. If somebody's being schizo, it's just a off-the-cuff way of saying that they're being energetically incoherent and can't keep. It's like ADHD psycho. Like this is exactly what I mean. You guys are thinking about it too much. This is what alienates people, and I mean this unironically. For every person that gets alienated by me saying retard, there are 3 people who get alienated by like this ultra hyper self-considered discourse on the exact nature and meaning of 87,000 kind of related but not exactly synonymous terms, which may or may not refer to people's ability. Like, I'm not saying there's not a discourse to be had. It's just like, man, people outside of the left do not talk about this. Okay, I think my cough is starting to calm down. I just don't think you should be mean to people who have like actual disabilities, you know? But then again, like, if there's a person in a position of power, like, okay, here's something that might make you question stuff. What about dementia, Alzheimer's, or senility? If there's a politician who's like this horrible, monstrous piece of shit, and a lot of their monstrous behavior is funneled through this like 87-year-old brain or whatever, do you think it would be ableist to say like, oh, you demented old fart or whatever? Because it literally is. Not only is it ableist, you're actually attacking them over an actual mental disability. But now it feels permissible, right? Because it's like, oh, well, what? Why is that permissible? Because I've never seen anyone complain about that being done before. I've never seen any like ableism warrior take issue with people calling Biden, you know, as if he has dementia, which he probably does. No, because they're actually causing harm and probably aren't fit for office on that basis. Okay, so what if a person is causing harm and isn't fit for office on the basis of them being fucking retarded? And I mean that. Like, genuinely low IQ can't understand things that well. Well, hold on now, folks. If we can insult people for having dementia, if that's impeding their ability to run for office, well, hold on now. If this is valid when attacking a figure in public office, we as citizens and as humans have an obligation to our communities. Wouldn't you argue then that it would be valid to attack people for disabilities if it prevents them from contributing appropriately to their community? Oh, well, hold on now, hold on. Well, that doesn't seem fair. Just a regular person? They haven't gone above and beyond. They haven't demonstrated a greater degree of civic responsibility the way a politician has. It gets a little blurry. What about content creators? I would say that many people have been harmed from profound mental retardation on the part of content creators. So, I don't know. They've accepted a greater degree of social responsibility by making themselves public figures. You know, I don't know. Okay. Just saying. Does Biden actually have dementia? Probably. Navosh, your tism is showing, not gonna lie. Really? Is that true? Stubbed toe. But after a thorough investigation of your chat logs, I've come to the conclusion that you are probably 14 years old. So who's autistic now? Me, someone who's gotten laid plenty of times, or you, someone who can only dream of it and won't for years? Think about it. Could have right-clicked. Could have right-clicked. Could have right-clicked. Could have right-clicked. Zoomer is now an ableist emote. True. This cough really bugs me, man. If using retard as a slur is bad because it stigmatizes the mentally deficient, wouldn't using something like smart as a compliment also be bad because it normalizes the same dynamic? Son of a bitch, Nicky Bugs. You're completely correct. If impugning somebody for being black is wrong in the same way as praising somebody for being white because it reinforces the same preferential dynamic, then yeah, condemning somebody for being unintelligent and praising somebody for being intelligent literally do the same thing, which further highlights the impossibility of fully excising ableist language from your speech. Wow, that actually does it. I think that's the strongest argument you can come up with, yeah. Particularly gifted. If saying someone is stupid is a word that implies essentialism, surely gifted is. I actually think the term gifted is like one of the worst things you can say to a kid, because a gift is something you receive, not something you work for, and B, gifted is like this like cheap corpo politically correct synonym for intelligent in a way that feels kind of condescending when you're actually being told you're gifted. 3, it implies some kind of creator bullshit, like gifted by who? What the fuck do you mean? And 4, like it paints over the complexities of intelligence in a lot of ways. Like gifted, what does that mean? You know, it's more complicated than that. I remember I was part of that gifted and talented education, that GATE shit, when I was young, because they rope all the smart kids into that. You know, parents pay a little extra money to go on those trips or whatever. That's all bullshit. They tell a bunch of kids they're smart. They bring you out to like a summer retreat for a week, and they're like, all right, smart kids, we're going to do cool things like building structurally sound towers with blocks. Oh, you mean that stuff like 4-year-olds do? Yeah, but like, we're going to do it smartly. We're going to use smart words like center of balance. All right, good luck. Good luck, kids. You know, the funny thing is, I've been smug about this my whole life, okay? The funny thing is that I think at one point I actually like outsmarted one of the counselors and they hated me for it. Okay, they didn't hate me for it, but it was like really fucking awkward, okay? So the weird thing is that I outsmarted them by answering their question, okay? So we had this like big fake cannon that would shoot like a cannonball about this big made of foam. It was like an air pressure thing. It was like a toy, and the thing was like we were like it's like the physics of like shooting a cannonball at some castle walls, but they're made of like foam blocks. You get it, right? And anyway, we were talking about like, okay, so if you were gonna do this, like, how would you do it? So you have like, you know, you have like on over here, you have like the foam, you know, it's like, you know, like this shit. You've got like the foam, whatever. And then there's like a cannon over here. Boom. There's a little fake fuse, but there was no fuse. It's always penises with you. What looks like a penis here? Shut up. Anyway, and the counselor asked, like, okay, if you were going to fire at a wall from a distance, would it be better to hit it straight on? Or would it be better to, like, aim the cannon up and arc your shot at it? And I said this probably, like, in a stupid way because I was a kid, but I basically said, like, it's definitely better to fire at it straight on because then you're only factoring in two possible, not directions, what is it? Like planes of movement, like X and Y. Whereas if you add the arc to the trajectory, you now have to worry about the appropriate depth. Yeah, axes, thank you. You have to worry about the appropriate depth you want to strike. And everyone knows that's true, right? It's way easier to hit a target with like a gun than a mortar. But the correct answer was to arc the shot because it was at a distance. But because we were only 30 feet away from the foam wall, my answer was correct in the context of our situation, and the counselor just stared at me. He gave me the, when the autistic person says something so autistic, you give them the neurotypical stare. And it was really fucking weird, because we were only 30 feet away. So why would we arc the shot when it's right there? Like, if it was like 500 feet away, then of course you have to, because at that point the gravity would pull the... Yeah, but like, my answer was correct, okay? That in the example, he did not specify like a different scenario with a farther away wall. Okay. This is like 20 years ago. Yeah, fuck that guy. I can see you thought about this moment a lot. Thank you. Oh, God. Tim Pool got a PragerU video? Really? Tim! Is it finally time?
How many times does someone have
Ah, it's from 3 months ago. Okay, so it's a little old. But, you know, whatever. We haven't watched PragerU in ages.
to lie to you before you call them a liar? 1, 5, 20? It seems like many Americans are okay being lied to over and over and over.
That's actually an interesting question. Because you could call a person a liar after they've lied to you once in that moment. But if a person lied to you once, like 17 years ago, you can't really go like, oh yeah, Dave's a liar. Like, you can't, like, that semantically, that's not how people would say that, right? You would have to demonstrate like a habitual Yeah, he still has the beanie on for the PragerU video. Everyone else wears a suit. Classic.
again. Here's just one example. Michael Brown was a young black teenager, a gentle giant, who on August 9th, 2014,
Oh no.
during a routine police...
Oh, hey, I wonder why... Guys, a conservative trying to demonstrate the concept of lying. Okay, so this black child was murdered. Now, hold on.
...stop in Ferguson, Missouri, raised his hands and pleaded for his life as he looked down the barrel of racist white police officer Darren Wilson's gun. Brown famously...
Dude, dog, I don't even remember the details of Michael Brown. This was literally a decade ago. Conservatives are still mad that, like, not everyone in the country raised their arms up and went, oh, no, yeah, we're glad that this other black kid died. When was this? 2014. This was 2014. This was before the Black Lives Matter movement. Like, going all the way back. Like, I swear to God, you might as well go back to Emmett Till. How many times do people have to lie to you? Now, if you've listened to the media, Emmett Till was a sweet young man who did nothing wrong. But actually, according to this one white guy who was interviewed 100 years ago, you know.
He held his hands up and yelled, "Don't shoot," before he turned and ran. Wilson shot him 6 times in the back, killing him dead. If you bought that, you bought a lie. Here are the facts. Michael Brown...
I do think, though, that it's very funny how representative this is of the PragerU demographic. That, like, this is far enough back that the only people who care about this are going to be, like, older people. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, basically everyone who's currently politically engaged was alive for the Michael Brown shooting. But normally you don't have to go back a decade, especially in an era where news happens so quickly that you can constantly get, like, citations of stuff happening super recently. Like, to go back this far, you're basically pleading to the boomers who are still seething over this one. You know what I mean? I like how they drew him angry. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Brown was 6'4". He weighed 200...
He was 6'4". Nah, see, he wasn't a gentle giant. He was 6'4".
92 pounds. 80 pounds heavier than Officer Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
He was a giant, but there was nothing gentle about him. Brown and his friend had just robbed a convenience store. Wilson...
Do you think they had to, like, rewrite the script a few times? Like, somebody looked over it and they were like, okay, you can't call Michael Brown gorilla-like. No, Tim or Dennis, whoever wrote this, you can't... You have to imply it. You can't say it. You have to imply... You can't just say it.
In his police car, spotted them walking in the middle of the street. The 2 men matched the description of the thieves. Wilson drove up and told them to move to the sidewalk. Brown refused.
I love how they're both being drawn here, by the way, because, okay, I'm really not trying to play it up, but they have literally drawn Michael Brown as a gorilla here. Seriously, look at him. The officer just looks like a cartoon twink. And Michael Brown has like a cannonball of a torso. Like I said, like, you can't say it, but you have to imply it. I remember after the Michael Brown shooting, they outlined skips from regular show. Literally, yeah. Dude, it's skips. Here we go. Michael Brown, pictured shortly before his tragic death, attacking, wait, can I get like what's a twink that I can find? What's like a Rigby? Is Rigby the little one? From regular show? Rigby's the little one, right? No, Link. Wait, hold on. Link. From Zelda, hold on. Tears of the Kingdom. That's like a twink, because Rigby's just small, but here, let me find like the twinkiest possible. Okay, I'm just gonna type twink. Here we go. Perfect. Okay. Can mime this out like puppet theater. You know what I mean? Basically, like moments before the shooting, it looked like basically the cop was sitting on the black couch and there were 5 Michael Browns on the, like, behind the couch. Like, this is what happened. This is what the media won't tell you. Okay? Now, tragically for Michael Brown, Link did in fact have the Zonai laser cannon.
Blocked Wilson from opening his car door, punched the officer through the open window, and reached for Wilson's gun. Wilson fired in self-defense, striking Brown's hand. Brown ran. Wilson got out of the car and pursued him. Brown then suddenly turned and...
How fucking big they made him! Oh my god! Dude! It's just so funny how they couldn't just say, like, he was a tall man. They had to draw him like this. Does he get bigger every cut? Yeah, because he's getting a workout from running, so he's getting larger. Can we get an actual photo of him now? Yeah, he looks like a normal human, actually. Yeah, contrary to popular opinion, he looks like a guy, actually. Just looks like a dude. Like, there are tons of people that have been shown in PragerU, like direct references to large people in PragerU who have not been drawn like hulking muscle men. But you know, I mean, we all know what's being done here, right? I'm not even arguing the facts of the case because, again, like, the Michael Brown shooting happened 5 years before I even started my channel. I didn't do like the deep dive into it, you know? This has been already like settled. This was the origin of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Charged Wilson. Wilson repeatedly told him to stop, but Brown kept coming. Wilson shot Brown until Brown collapsed. A local grand jury and federal investigators from the Obama Justice Department concluded that Officer Wilson was justified in his use of deadly force. There is no evidence that Brown ever held his hands up and yelled, "Don't shoot." The whole story was manufactured by the media. It wasn't the first time. It wouldn't be the last, not by a long shot.
Who manufactured that story? So wait, the whole media is a liar? I thought like there would be a specific... I don't even remember the details of the Michael Brown shooting. I really wish I had a perfect memory so that I could just like read a story and then have it in my head for the rest of my life. That'd be so nice. Johnson said that Wilson initiated confrontation by grabbing Brown by the neck through Wilson's patrol car window, threatening him and then shooting. Both Wilson and Johnson stated Johnson fled, with Wilson pursuing Brown shortly after. Wilson stated Brown stopped and charged him after a short pursuit. Johnson contradicted this account, saying Brown turned around with his hands raised until Wilson shot at his back. According to Johnson, Wilson then shot Brown multiple times till Brown fell to the ground. Okay, so Michael Brown's friend said they both ran, and then Michael Brown put his hands up and stopped and was shot in the back. And the cop said that Michael Brown charged at him, and then he shot him. Wouldn't you be able to tell if he'd been shot in the back versus the chest? I think that's like one of the easier things to do with like forensic analysis, right? Like you would know whether he was shot. Oh, here. Brown was struck 6 times, all in the front of his body. Okay, so he was shot in the front, yeah. So why would you say that he was shot in the back? Shot at his back. No. Okay, so in that respect, the cop is correct in that part of the account. Check the source. Well, I can't contradict like forensic analysis for a decade-old case. Witnesses to the shooting claim Brown had his hands up in surrender or said don't shoot. So protests later used the slogan hands up, don't shoot. That's where it came from, by the way. Subsequent FBI investigation said there was no evidence Brown had done so. Grand jury called and given evidence. So basically, it's just a he said, she said when it comes to like the specifics of whether or not he charged the officer at the end there. Okay. There's not even enough evidence here to like have a definitive opinion. It did kick off the BLM movement. But that's a good thing. Vosh, there were 3 autopsies. Did subsequent autopsies find different conclusions? Wow, this was a heavily analyzed shooting. My God. Oh, boy. 3 autopsies. Twice in the head, no shots in the back. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh.
The biggest whopper of them all was the Russia hoax, the entirely made-up story that Donald Trump, the candidate, and then Donald Trump, the president of the United States, was a Russian agent.
Notice how they're specifically saying Donald Trump here, because multiple members of his inner circle were indicted and arrested for the exact things that he was being investigated for. And the conclusion, yeah, his lawyer went to prison. And the conclusion that they arrived at was that Trump himself wasn't found to have made contact, but a ton of people around him in his administration were actively colluding with the Kremlin. So, like, the result was like, no, Russia or Trump wasn't a knowing Russian agent. He was an unknowing Russian agent. Trump's campaign manager admits to sharing info. Yeah, no, Paul Manafort. Yeah, like, all of this has been, like, this led to so much information coming out. So many of the people surrounding Trump were basically just, like, stooges of Russia. So he was an unknowing Russian agent, not a knowing one that we know of.
This dark fantasy preoccupied the legacy media for 3 years. It involved dozens of interlocking lies, almost all of which were planted by Trump's Democratic opponent. Given the sad state of our corporate media...
We're going to disprove any of that? We're just going to say that? We're just going to say that?
It is perfectly fitting that the New York Times and the Washington Post won Pulitzer Prizes, the highest award in journalism, for dutifully reporting each lie as if it were the gospel truth.
What lie? Well, you were willing to do this whole animation bit with Michael Brown being a giant, scary muscle man. What lies? What lies did they say? What did they say that was incorrect? Obviously this is, like, meaningless, and PragerU has fallen off a lot in terms of relevance. So it's not the same hitter that it used to be. But, like, obviously, you know, literally everything that comes out of these guys' mouths is pretty much objectively false, and they know it, and they lie to advance an agenda, and they're aware of that fact, and they hate you, and they want you dead. They want you dead. They want to kill you personally. They masturbate to the thought of killing you. So it's a laugh for them to, like, impugn. The funny thing is, like, legacy media is not trustworthy, but compared to these guys, they might as well be deities of trust, you know? It's just incredible how low the bar has fallen, because, like, the New York Times is not a trustworthy institution, you know? The BBC, not a trustworthy institution. Even Reuters and AP News, they're not, like, you should always be critical of these institutions. But then, like, compared to literally anything the Republicans do, like, they're basically without fault. Like, the Republicans are so bad that they indirectly elevate the standards of other publications.
Truth. Then there was the Charlottesville lie, that the president described neo-Nazis as very fine people.
I remember that. It was when he did that exact thing. He did explicitly do this. There's a whole Sean video, Sean Skullman, where he talks about Republicans, like, desperately trying to cover up him doing this.
At a press conference following a riot in Charlottesville, Virginia, in August of 2017. He never said any such thing. There's a transcript of the press conference to prove it. The real quote was, "I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists. They should be condemned totally."
Well, then where is this quote in relation to the very fine people quote? Like, what's the connection between these two? They say it like an hour apart? We can find out.
You're putting what you're calling the alt-left and white supremacists on the same moral plane.
I'm not putting anybody on a moral plane. What I'm saying is this. You had a group on one side and you had a group on the other, and they came at each other with clubs, and it was vicious, and it was horrible, and it was a horrible thing to watch. But there is another side. There was a group on this side, you can call them the left, or you've just called them the left, that came violently attacking the other group. So you can say what you want, but that's the way it is.
Remember, this was a protest where on the right, it was just an open neo-Nazi conference, and they killed a woman. And his first thing is like, okay, yeah, they were both violent, but the left was like super violent and bad.
It's on both sides, sir. You said there was hatred, there was violence on both sides.
Well, I do think there's blame. Yes, I think there's blame on both sides. You look at both sides. I think there's blame on both sides, and I have no doubt about it, and you don't have any doubt about it either. And if you reported it accurately, you would say.
Kill the person. Heather hired
Charlottesville. They showed up in Charlottesville to protest.
Excuse me. They didn't put themselves down as you. And you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group. Excuse me. I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name.
So, seems pretty unambiguous. No, yeah, like rewatching it, it's actually pretty astonishing how bad it is, right? You guys don't remember. It's been a while.
Well, no, George Washington was a slave owner. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? Are we going to take down, excuse me, are we going to take down statues to George Washington? How about Thomas Jefferson? What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? You like him?
The correct answer is, of course, that there are plenty of reasons you would have a statue of George Washington or Thomas Jefferson up that aren't just celebrating them as defenders of slavery, whereas the only reason that you would have Confederate generals up, and in fact the only reason they were put up, was explicitly to celebrate slavery and to intimidate civil rights protesters during the 60s. So even if you want to tear down George Washington or Thomas Jefferson, don't take the bait and make an equivalency or an equivalence between them, because there isn't one.
Okay, good. Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner. Now
as you can see, unlike what Tim Pool is implying here, because Tim Pool is implying that he said this and then immediately said the very fine people line, but he didn't. He just said they were fine people on both sides. So yeah, it's pretty unambiguous.
No matter. The media had manufactured the story, and they were sticking to it.
The story manufactured by recording Trump and publishing recordings of him saying it.
Additional common sense evidence to the contrary, like the president has Jewish grandchildren.
Dog, these people will call George Soros a Holocaust survivor, a Nazi, but then be like, bro, how could Trump possibly be an anti-Semite when the grandchildren he pays no attention to, or when Jared Kushner had kids that he doesn't pay? Oh yeah, common sense evidence to the contrary. Like at one point, Donald Trump had a Jewish accountant. Go ignored by the left-leaning media, right?
Was simply ignored. Or how about the laptop from hell? The computer that Hunter Biden left at a computer repair shop and never picked up.
Oh, remember when the laptop story first broke and every single Republican account, politician, and pundit started talking about how child porn was found in the laptop, and then over months all of that faded away because it was just made up and they all lied about it. It was completely fake. There was no evidence of it. It was basically just full of photos of him doing lines and like fucking hot chicks and having a big dick. Like that was like the whole laptop was just him like fucking prostitutes while high on coke, but all of them immediately reported that it was full of child porn. Like politicians were saying this.
That story was broken by the New York Post in October 2020. In addition to files depicting Hunter's personal predilections, emails...
Right, like banging hot chicks and doing coke, right. Having a big dick.
And text messages on the laptop suggested that his father, presidential candidate Joe Biden, was involved in corrupt business dealings with the Russians, the Ukrainians, and the Chinese.
Still no evidence. It's been years, still no evidence. No, mostly from the Daily Mail, Cutie. Basically, the accusation here is that Hunter Biden spends approximately $4 million a year on cocaine, and in order to get that much money, he basically had to go on down to China, and he had to be like, hello, I'm Hunter Biden, a.k.a. the son of the vice president / senator / president, depending on what time period it is. And the Chinese people are like, oh, so like, if we hire you, you're going to get us in, right? Like, you're going to get us some dealings. And Hunter Biden's like, yeah, you pay in advance, right? And then like Hunter Biden gets a bunch of cash. That's literally it. It's all Hunter Biden going, yeah, I'm friends with my dad. Hey, can I get some money? And just like mooching off of his father's popularity and power to get stuff. Now, is that shitty? Yes. That's not good. But there's no evidence that that Joe Biden's actually done anything. Yeah, I didn't realize Republicans were the anti-nepotism party. There's no evidence that Joe Biden actually did anything, like, did any favoritism. So that would be the actual, like, crime.
Twitter immediately banned the New York Post story from being shared on its platform.
They banned the New York Post story because at the time, Twitter had a rule about posting stuff that contained leaked info. This was not the first time they enforced this rule. Previously, they banned a big expose. Yeah, revenge porn, because it had revenge porn. It had unconsensually distributed nudes. They had previously banned a large expose of anti-police journalism. Like, there was a big leak of like police information that also got banned by Twitter, which was like a left-leaning thing. And they banned it for the same reasons. It wasn't a partisan thing.
Did the legacy media jump all over this egregious violation of the freedom of the press? No. They jumped all over the fiction that it was another Russian disinformation campaign. For the record, I don't care whether you think Trump is great or horrible. The issue is not...
I'm pretty sure that direct links have been found between Russian officials and parts of the laptop from hell story. Because Russia involves itself in a lot of far-right stuff around the world. And this was before the war in Ukraine, so they had more, like, media presence over here in the West. I don't exactly remember, but I'm pretty sure I remember that being the case. Whatever the case is, you know, the laptop story ended up being bunk. That's why recently there were... God damn it. Recently, there were charges brought against Hunter Biden, and Republicans are furious that it's not going to lead to jail time. And the charges against him were like illegal possession of a firearm or something. Like, relative to the stuff they want to get him for, it's like nothing, you know?
Not Trump. The issue is truth. How do you determine who's telling it? One obvious way, as I've already suggested, is if someone or some news source lies over and over again, you may not want to trust them. Who told you that
Agree.
Supreme Court Justice nominee Brett Kavanaugh was a sexual abuser and a gang rapist? Or that a Catholic high school kid cruelly mocked
well, I mean, that was the testimony provided against him. It didn't prevent him becoming a Supreme Court justice, but that was the information brought against him. It seems like the fake news that Tim Pool doesn't want you to listen to is reporting any of the things Republicans do. You know, like they just don't want you to know about it. Yeah, Steve Bannon was bragging that the Hunter Biden laptop story was fake and that everyone was buying it. Like Steve Bannon was like, ha, we look at all this bullshit people are believing, you know? It probably is. Oh, Kavanaugh almost certainly was raping lots of women. I don't care. Conservative Supreme Court justice, that's a ding. His behavior when being scrutinized, that's a ding. I don't care. Yeah, big rapist, don't care. Prove he wasn't, don't care. I believe it.
A Native American war veteran on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial.
Oh my God!
Or that mounted border
the MAGA hat kid? Seriously?
Agents used whips to control migrants at the Texas border. The legacy media, the corporate media, the establishment media, whatever you want to call them. They've lied to your face, and they'll keep lying.
This is like MAGA greatest hits. Well, it's the classic way that like cults function, which is rather than exert energy having to like disprove every true thing the opposition says, it's much easier to convince your followers to do the internal disregarding themselves, you know?
You can keep believing their lies, or you can show a little curiosity and take some responsibility. Read past the headlines. Consume information from across the political spectrum. Determine for yourself who deserves your trust and who doesn't. In the process, you'll be surprised how much you will learn. This is how you become an informed citizen.
Guys, I'm ready, and I've decided where I'm going to get my political info from. I'm ready.
I think Kamala and Biden might be throwaway candidates. They know they're going to get steamrolled in the election. I really don't see the Democrats winning this. I think it's fair to say Trump's going to win re-election. I think Trump might have a massive, massive victory, which shocks the left. I think we're looking at a Trump victory, man. Trump 2020 landslide, even with everything going on with COVID. I think that's what we can expect. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Trump had a 49-state landslide. I think we could see a 49-state landslide. We may be looking at a Mondale-Reagan type scenario where Trump landslides 49 states. And we may see a 49-state landslide, maybe a 50-state landslide. That'd be amazing. I think we might be seeing a 49-state landslide. I just really think it's more likely that Trump wins 520 electoral votes. No amount of mail-in ballots will matter. If Trump gets 537 or 36 or even 538 every single electoral vote, we all know Joe Biden will lose. Like, let's be real, man. As I've stated 1,000,001 times, Donald Trump's going to win. The Republicans are going to sweep. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden has defeated Donald Trump.
No copyright. Spectacular. Was that true? Did Trump win 2020? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. The crabs are celebrating how right Tim Pool was. It was a 50-state landslide.
Now that's a novel idea. I'm Tim Pool, host of Timcast for Prager University.
Excellent. Excellent video. Great stuff. Obviously, on the off chance any conservatives or Tim Pool fans are watching this, of course you should be skeptical of broader media narratives. The problem is you guys are just wrong, like, all the time. So, like, you can encourage broad skepticism, but, like, you're like, non-stop liars. So it's, like, skepticism should be directed against you, first and foremost, in all cases. To the point where if a conservative says something, I genuinely think that it's more intellectually and morally sound to presuppose that they're lying. Like, it's not only that they're misrepresenting, that it's just made up, and then investigate again. A conservative can never be your final source. They lie on more things than they tell the truth. Oh, yeah, I saw this. The update on Steven Crowder. Him trying to get full custody of the kids, probably after being humiliated online. Steven Crowder's relevance has dwindled a lot thanks to all of that. That was, like, really hard-hitting, you know? Normally, the humiliation of people, like, pro-family types, I mean, it's not as severe as, like, video evidence of them abusing their wife and then not being present for the birth of the twins that he's now trying to take, you know? Just, how much... Wait, can I... Wait. Hold on. Social Blade, Steven Crowder. Has there been, like, a noticeable dip? Oh, man. Kind of looks like it. Well, that's, subs and viewership. Maybe there hasn't been. Stuff like that can take a while. He lost a decent chunk of subs here. I don't know how much pull it'll have in the long run. I definitely see him a lot less. On Twitter, I certainly don't see his posts go viral anymore. It really does say something that his behavior was so disgusting that it made conservatives turn on him. That's special. Like, that's really, really special. He's also gotten multiple channel strikes, and I think his channel got demonetized too, so, guess he'll just have to deal with having like $100 million bajillion dollars. I don't think that Steven Crowder had a Zoomer audience. I feel like his audience was, like, older than a lot of ones. He's not very cool. You know? I think Tim Pool has a much younger audience than Steven Crowder does. Excuse me.
Before we do anything else today,
I've seen the Stink video. Statement from President Joe Biden on completing the destruction of the U.S.'s chemical weapons stockpile. Oh. Well, that's nice. Should be taken with a grain of salt. You know, hard to tell if this is being done honestly, but if it is, then that's pretty great. Huh. Well. Chemical weapons are bad. Wait, we still have chemical weapons? Yeah, they can take a while to dispose of. What do you think of the Biden administration sending cluster munitions to Ukraine? Good. Russia's been using cluster munitions against Ukraine since the start of the war. Also, Ukraine is striking military targets. Russia's striking civilian targets. Cluster munitions are less ethical, largely in the context of their imprecision, because you'd strike like an entire city rather than like a, specific target. But the Russians aren't holed up in like Kyiv. So, oh, I did see one thing that was quite funny. Hold on. Oh, I hope I can find it. There was this Russia simp who was like, I'm just horrified by the destructive potential of cluster munitions. I can't stand to see them as such, or, whatever. And then somebody found like 1 year ago, they were defending Russia, and they were like, sure, Russia's using cluster munitions, but like, whatever, dude, like, they're kind of fun. They're kind of cool, right? Like, they're cool, and I don't think it's a big deal. And like, I mean, if you're mad, then like, There's a bunch of Vatnik types who are like this. See? Look. Ukraine wants to use cluster munitions. Don't come crying when Russia uses them as well. Ah, yes. Don't come crying when they use them as well. Hypothetically, in the future. Like, if down the line they start using them because they weren't before. I want to find that tweet, man. There it is. Here it is. Cluster munitions are horrific. The shrapnel flies off, killing and injuring people indiscriminately. I condemn the use of it every time, and so did many when Russia was using it. Now that it's in the U.S., which has always used it, who will speak up? From February 22. All use of cluster bombs, and that's being used from the beginning, are non-precision, but it doesn't mean they're not collateral, nor does it constitute war crimes a priori. A weapon is not unlawful simply because its use may cause incidental or collateral casualties to civilians. So, like, yeah, right, yeah. I don't give a fuck if Ukraine is using cluster weapons. They're using it in their own territory. They can create unexploded bomblets, which is unfortunate, but I think that Ukraine's top priority is winning the war, Keep in mind, pretty much everything that Ukraine does has to be framed through a different ethical lens, because they are, again, not trying to conquer new territory. They're not invading other people. They're defending themselves from an invasion. Very, very different set of circumstances. So, whatever. If it helps them win. Russian soldiers have been mass raping Ukrainian women and children. Anyone who defends Putin is pro-child rape? Yes. Everyone who defends Russia enjoys raping children personally. That is true. It's the Russian army. Of course they're going to do this. They're barbarians. I really do mean that, by the way. The military culture in Russia is psychotic. They treat their conscripts like absolute garbage. Ever since, like, literally, okay, when I was young, I believed the, like, Russian human waves thing, where they would just, like, send in billions of soldiers to die needlessly against the Germans and so on. And then when I got older, I realized, okay, no, that's like a video game meme. That's not true. And now that I'm, like, almost 30, yes, it is. That is true. No, that actually is basically indicative of their military strategy since the Russian Revolution. That's, yeah, no, that sums it up. Just in terms for their casual disregard for human life. It's the attitude of the officers, and it seeps down into the soldiers and the conscripts. It's not good. Yeah, the basic modus operandi of, like, Russian military aggression is conscript everyone, then send all the ethnic minorities in the country to their death first, and all the ones who don't die in combat die from suicide or alcohol overdoses to cope with the insane living conditions in their barracks and recruitment facilities. Has the U.S. ever been involved in mass rapes in combat in any instance? Of course. Yeah, soldiers do that. But the Russian military is especially bad. And I do absolutely defend that. Yeah. You can read up on the history of their engagement in basically any conflict. Right now, at this moment, the U.S. military exercises a much greater degree of discipline and humanitarian engagement than the Russian military. And that's a low bar, by the way, because the American military is not good. I'm really just trying to stress how bad the Russian military is. Not a defense of the American military, which is bad. Russia, very, very, very bad. You can read up on the first Chechen war. Anything from World War II. Read up the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. You can read up on the first and second Chechen wars. You can read up on the war in Ukraine if you really want to. If you want to get crazy with it, like it's consistently terrible. I think that we were much closer to par like 50 years ago because our behavior in Vietnam was morally black hole territory, like morally like death spiral, demon cult, death, unimaginable barbarism, so on. But America has changed a lot since the Cold War in terms of their foreign engagement, mostly preferring to settle on soft power as a mechanism of controlling people abroad. And Russia has gotten, arguably, in a lot of ways, worse when it comes to military doctrine and their attitude towards foreign engagement, largely because they don't have the economic power to use soft colonialism the way that we do, so they have to rely on like actual military strength. Former Wagner soldiers admit to throwing grenades at kids. He himself was raped and tortured by his commanders. Yeah, that tracks. No, it tracks, really. It's the Wagner Group. The Wagner Group is literally a Nazi mercenary militia that was primarily deployed to Africa so they could, like, shoot Muslims and rape, like, African women in villages that don't have running water or electricity. Like, and that was, like, the fighting force in Ukraine. They recruited from prisons for their soldiers. Like, yeah, no, it's very, very bad. And this isn't like Russians are genetically evil or anything like that. It's just, it's a snowball rolling down a hill. The socioeconomic momentum of Russian military doctrine has pushed the state of affairs towards a worse and worse position. It could be fixed. It doesn't have to be this way. There's nothing innate about this, but it is what it is, you know? Wasn't Iraq about as bad as Vietnam, considering how many died? No. Compared to Vietnam, Iraq was America putting on 17 layers of white gloves and tiptoeing across the desert. No. A lot of people who died in Iraq, the majority of people who died in Iraq, civilians, did so through consequences of sanctions and the economic devastation we left, which is still on us, by the way. That's still our fault. In terms of like direct engagement and behavior by the soldiers, no, it's incomparable. Vietnam was pretty bad. It's Pretty bad. Not good. Bonus points, the American war in Afghanistan was nothing compared to the Russian one. Yeah, yeah. Russia and Afghanistan was like us in Vietnam. Look at this cool, oh, low resolution, but whatever. Oh, here we go. Look at this cool population chart of Afghanistan. What's that dip in the 1980s? Yeah, buy the dip. Don't forget about the Korean War. The Korean War was also very... Okay, I want to be perfectly clear, all right? When I say that the Russian military is especially barbaric, I'm comparing it to the way our military is developed today, the standards and level of discipline. Definitely not like America broadly. You know, in our history broadly, I would not have made that comparison in that way during like 1967. Like in 1967, when Kissinger was at the head of the White House Foreign Policy Affairs Department pulling switches, I would not have been like, well, Soviet military is really evil. I would not have made that argument. I mean, it was, but, you know, I wouldn't have made a comparative argument. I would not have done that. Cold War was pretty equal in its war crimes. I think we'd take that one. I don't think the Soviets had the ability to do anything comparable to what we did in Korea and Vietnam. I don't know. I haven't done like a total chart. I haven't done a total chart up. A lot of people died in the Korean War. 5 million people. We don't even talk about the Korean War. The reason we talk about the Vietnam War is because because we had the draft and a lot of Americans came back with PTSD. In terms of total deaths, you know, the Korean War, despite mostly Chinese and Korean people dying, not Americans dying, that was we kind of did that a little bit. Well, you know, we didn't help. The Korean War only lasted 3 years. More than 1 million people a year. I mean, America didn't exactly start it. No. To be fair, the Korean War was not entirely on us, but I maintain that our insistence on, what is it, containment doctrine? What was the term? What was the term to keep the communism spreading? Was it containment doctrine? Was that the term? That was it? That was the term? Yeah, okay, containment. The domino theory. Right, the domino theory. Our adherence to that, like, completely skewed the way in which we engage with the developing conflict in Korea. And I think that, like, we had the power to keep things from getting that bad. Like, in terms of preventing escalation and encouraging detente. But, like, that's so complicated, you know. I don't know. That is not something I've done, like, a full look into. I admit that. I see people still mad at you for saying we dabbed on North Korea. We did dab on North Korea. I didn't say it was good. I didn't say it was a morally good dab. Yeah, God, look at that. Keep in mind that this is just like Koreans. Like 30,000 Americans died. It was like nothing compared to this. In the tiny country of Korea, 2.5 million military deaths and 2 to 3 million civilian deaths. Like, compared to America or Russia or so many of these other massive countries, this is a small country and just, oof. Yeah, like 1/5 of all North Koreans. Like an insane, like an unimaginable amount of suffering, like literally beyond comprehension. The total amount of suffering caused by this was like Holocaust here, you know? It just ungodly. Then the Russians and Chinese start the Korean War. Yeah, it's complicated. Okay, it's complicated. People argue over the specifics of like legitimate military engagement. You know, it's very complicated. We're not totally at fault. We definitely could have done better. North Korea invaded South Korea. It's pretty clear cut there. No, it's not. I mean, North Korea still invaded. No, guys. You can't containment doctrine your way into like, oh, across the world, like, yeah, there's been like a proxy / civil war has happened. Let me dip my toes in so 5 billion people died. Like, this is one of those things where it's like, it's not our fault the war happened, but we made it a lot worse. They weren't North and South Korea. No, they weren't North and South Korea at the time. You know what I mean. The relative political factions that would eventually, like, form into. Like, if you need anything indicative of our attitude towards, like, the Korean conflict, we propped up a fascist military dictatorship in South Korea, which lasted until, like, the 1980s. We propped up so many fascist dictators. Yeah, 87. 1987. Democracy in South Korea is only a little bit older than me. Yeah, I'm not saying North Korea is good, Dana. It's bad. I'm just saying we could have handled the Korean War a hell of a lot better. Yeah, but like how? Well, it's complicated. I have to assume there's a better outcome than millions dead. Like, and we didn't even get North Korea either. Like, we didn't even save the whole. I don't think staying out of it is necessarily the right answer. It's more complicated than that. But like, our attitude towards this containment theory bullshit was so colonialist. I don't think we fully understood. Like, keep in mind that America was so America-brained that our strategy in Vietnam was nothing. We didn't have a strategy in Vietnam. Like, we literally committed a ton of soldiers and money to Vietnam with the plan of, like, go there. We didn't have a strategy, and then we stayed there for, like, a decade. We didn't think a lot of this shit out, you know? Nowadays, the American military is, like, relatively speaking, so efficient that I think it's hard to... It's easy to forget how bad things were. You have to remember MacArthur was at full manifest destiny at this point. He basically lost his mind, bought into his own bullshit. Yeah, he wanted to nuke China, right? That was his plan. It was like, what was it? Operation Unthinkable? Yeah, Operation Unthinkable, potential plan. Oh no, this was the British chief of staff. Sorry, this was Churchill. This wasn't MacArthur. And it was, we invade the Soviets, the nanosecond Hitler dies. He wanted to nuke the border to China. Yeah. Wild guy. Basically, all of the, like, World War II military heroes from the Allies were themselves lunatics. Like, General Patton, probably would have overseen the Holocaust if it was Americans doing it and not Germans. MacArthur was, like, an unhinged lunatic. Churchill was a genocide orchestrator and penned Operation Unthinkable. Yeah, thank fuck for car accidents. Oh my god. Yeah, he wanted to use atomic bombs to contain China. Oh, it's okay. They would have been tactical atomic bombs. Patton also publicly supported going to war with the Soviets, which is probably why we didn't complain too much when he got killed with a car bomb. Even the US was like, yeah, he kind of favored. Well, you have to keep in mind that, like, all of the military leaders who made their way through, who led us through World War II, were full of, like, vim and vigor. And they grew up and learned all their military doctrine in a world without nukes. So, like, you have a guy like MacArthur, who is basically on top of the world, and he spent his entire life, and he's, no doubt, I mean, he's certainly an accomplished military leader, and then, like, you introduce nukes, but in his head, it's like, oh, it's a big bomb. Like, it's different, right? Like, we now understand the whole end of the world thing, but for him, it's like, oh, well, we now have big bombs. That's useful. You know, he's still running World War II in his head. I feel like the US and allies had the moral obligation to liberate Eastern Europe after World War II. Man. No, that would have been bad. We couldn't have fought the fucking Soviets in a direct ground war across the Iron Curtain. You know, I feel like I need to go over this, man, but like a lot of people, I talk a lot about how bad the Soviets are, but a lot of that is because I'm doing like the contrarianism bit where a lot of lefties don't understand how bad they were, but lefties do know how bad America is. But what you guys need to know is how bad America is. There were so many times that we made the Cold War worse. JFK and Reagan, I remember reading this, there were like multiple instances of of the Soviets directly trying to like reduce the Cold War, like bring it down a notch, like lower the level of paranoia and fear-mongering and military engagement. And like, what do you think Reagan's gonna do when he hears that? No fucking way. Of course not. Like the whole like Star Wars Reagan laser nuclear deterrent thing was such a fucking joke. It cost the American military a lot of money, the American taxpayer a lot of money. And the whole point of like a mutually assured destruction endgame satellite button kind of presupposed the idea that Reagan was betting on perpetual conflict. He turned down opportunities to like chill things out. There was a world where the Soviet Union and America could have gotten along better, because after like the 1960s especially, I think that the Soviet leadership had kind of leaned off the idea of like the world revolution in the way that like maybe, you know, like immediate post World War II, you know, the Soviet government was supplying money to every single party across the world that called itself communist. And America, like, I feel we could have collaborated with them like a lot. We could have worked with them a lot. We're doing the same thing right now. America, we do not allow our scientists and astronauts to do collaboration with China for spacefaring endeavors, because some fucking boomer fucks at the Pentagon or Congress, it was Congress, were like, what if China steals our tech? What the fuck do you mean? The ISS was like it's the International Space, but like we're not doing like joint shit with China anymore. And as a consequence of that, China's building its own space station, and we're like losing out on opportunities to have shared PR victories. And what's more, because of fucking cuts to NASA, didn't we end up doing joint rocket launches to get our astronauts into space with Russian rockets? Like, in a time period where Russia's warring with Ukraine, we don't have the money to send our guys up in our rockets, so our astronauts have to virgin walk their way over to Russian rockets to go up to shared space facilities. Meanwhile, Congress keeps us from interacting with China because half the fucking politicians in our country are obsessed with prolonging this weird fucking trade war narrative with China, which doesn't mean anything because we're mutually codependent. It's so dumb. A lot of this is China's fault too, because they provably stole F-35 planes. Yeah, I know, they're China, they steal tech, I know they do, but like, man, we have to get along with the rest of the world. We can't keep doing this. We did it all through the Cold War, and it bit us in the ass. Half of the world is still smoking rubble because our only strategy for dealing with Soviets and communism was kill, 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 kill. That's all we did. We funded Nazis all across Western Europe, and what happens? You're a socialist party that democratically got elected in Latin America. Kill, kill, kill. You're a communist group that's doing like literary analysis and like pamphlet spreading over in Italy. Kill, kill. We'll fund Nazis to kill you. Everywhere in the world, like a looming eye. We have like no strategy outside of killing people who threaten our business interests. We'll invade, we'll delegitimize, we'll overturn anything to keep us from engaging in like simple democracy. Simple, like basic shit. Stuff that other people all around the world have to like swallow their pride and deal with every day. Do you think countries in the developing world like dealing with us? They hate us. They hate us because they were colonialized by the French up until 1982 or whatever, and then their only chance of getting any money after France left with everything was having an exploitative business deal with our companies so they get like 2% of the revenue of the natural resources we extract for our markets. They hate us, but they have to deal with us because the alternative is mass starvation in their country. Whereas we're so proud, we're so pride-filled, we're prideful. We're so prideful that, like, even during the height of the Cold War, we insist on exacerbating conflict. Even now, we can't get along with China. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Are we the bad guys? There are many bad guys, and we are one of them. Sorry, what was I talking about? You cluster munitions, that's right. I don't even know what I don't even remember. Okay. Stop, guys, stop asking about my voice. A lot of the cough is psychosomatic. So if I'm not coughing, the cough is fine. If you remind me that I have a cough, it'll be more likely to come back. Just if I'm not coughing, then leave it be. Okay. We need to talk about a very important political issue that I've been sitting on for a sec. Jonah Hill's texts. I'm going to hit the add button and pee. I'll be right back. Ay, ay. You a celeb gossip stream? Oh, always, always. I saw there was drama on Twitter, so I pulled these images off of some gossip celebrity website. And I don't know if there's discourse happening. Hey, baby, take a look. Jonah Hill being cringe? Yeah, I kind of think so. Just a little bit. So there's this chick called Sarah Brady. Let's get a picture of her, even though that's haram. Is that haram's the bad one, right? I don't actually know. Yeah, halal is the good one, haram is the bad one. Right? Okay. Yeah, just making sure. Here they are. A lovely couple. Jonah Hill and Sarah Brady. They both look very beach tinted, which is fitting because she's a surfer. I don't know if Jonah Hill is a surfer. I don't think he is. I like their suit. Matching suit. Very cute. She looks better in that fit than he does. I mean, I think they both look fine here. I think she looks nicer generally, but I don't know. Yeah, cute couple. Or are they? Our lady over here leaked some text recently. Now, I'll leave the ethics on leaked texts aside. That's like a separate thing. But she has concerns about the ways in which she's being treated. So she posted these to her Insta story alleging that she's experiencing abuse from Jonah Hill. And to provide evidence for it, she posted these texts. Isn't that Binkle's ex? No, I think that's a different person. So abuse, as it turns out, not good. So what's happening here? I did read these beforehand. Oh, it is? Wait, is this actually Jackson Hinkle's ex? No way, really? No, that can't be true. Some people are saying it is. I don't know if that's true. You went over it a while ago. I don't know if it's the same girl. Some girl used to be with Jackson Hinkle, then was with Jonah Hill. I don't know if it's the same girl. I don't know. I'm calling cap. I don't care. Whatever. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It might be. Oh, my word. Wow. That's a lot. Okay. They went surfing with Hinkle. San Onofre paddle out with Sarah Brady and Tulsi Gabbard. Oh, yeah. Wait. In 2019, Jackson Hinkle, Tulsi Gabbard, and Sarah Brady went surfing together in California? What on earth? Oh, it's the titty. This is the titty plant. You drive alongside this on the Pacific Highway. This is like a landmark in California. Oh my God, there he is. And his like wetsuit. It's the squad. Interesting. My God, it really is the same chick. Does anyone else think like Jonah Hill looks a little bit like that guy who would drink his own piss? He talked with David Pacman and drank his own piss. A little bit? It's like the facial hair, I think. Bear Grylls? No, that like weirdo cult TikTok guy, not Bear Grylls. The Liver King? Isn't that a different guy? I don't, okay. God, moving on. Texts from Jonah Hill. A text from Jonah Hill. Plain and simple. If you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures, friendships with women who are in unstable places, and from your wild, recent past beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful, then I am not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for a romantic partnership. My boundaries with you based on the way these actions have hurt our trust. In other messages, what is this, Facebook Messenger? I don't know. She says, all the posts I removed from my page. And he says, good start. You don't seem to get it, but it's not my place to teach you. I've made my boundaries clear. You refuse to let some of them go, let go of some of them, and you've made that clear, and I hope it makes you happy. Then he posted what seems to be a post she hasn't taken down, where she is wearing a bathing suit at the beach while surfing, because she's a surfer. And, oh, this is a lot of text from Jonah. I'm just over-explaining myself. Post screenshots of surf pics on my Insta feed. It's just constant and doesn't reflect where you're at or where you say you want to be. I respect your skill and your surfing. I respect how you want to present yourself. It's just constant and doesn't reflect where we're at or where you say you want to be. I respect your... I respect you're hot and beautiful. I respect you... Oh my god, this goes on for a while. Holy shit. Okay. I've seen a lot of really weird discourse surrounding this, which is pretty dumb. And thankfully, I have the right opinions on everything concerning romantic engagement. So I'm going to lay down the facts, okay? First of all, people are arguing whether or not this is a misuse of the term boundaries to demand this of a romantic partner. Technically, no. A boundary can include other people's behavior. If it is a boundary for you that your partner be non-monogamous, then it can be a boundary for you that your partner ever interact with men. The question is whether or not the boundary is legitimate or warranted. Not all boundaries are. Lots of boundaries, as a matter of fact, aren't. Your parent telling you, I don't want you bringing any black guys back home, is a personal boundary. That does not mean that it's respectable or reasonable. So I don't think the term boundary is being misused in a technical sense. What I think we're seeing here is an abuse of, like, therapy coddle speak, if that makes any sense. Because the way that Jonah Hill is texting here is this, like, overly polite, gritting through teeth, let me lay out these unreasonable demands, but in the framework of, like, I'm abiding by the language of our, like, relationship counselor kind of vibe. You know what I mean? It's the way he's talking is like this overly therapized, I don't think there's a word for that. Overly therapeutic kind of way. I've seen people do this sometimes. It's not always an abuser thing, but I do think abusers do it sometimes. Where as a way of, like, therapeuticized, is that a word? Therapeuticized sounds like it could be a word. You understand what I'm saying. I've seen this from some people where they try to cover up bad behavior by framing it in, like, therapy language. So, true, the phrase trauma dumping gets misused a lot. Does anyone remember that TikTok where it's like, are you in a space where I can share information that could potentially hurt you? Or it was like that one person who kept giving advice on how to talk to people, and it was basically like, treat everybody like a professional email contact who is also on the verge of a mass shooting, so you have to talk to them in this, like, patronizing therapy speak kind of way. You know what I mean? You know, you remember what I'm talking about, right? That thing went viral. Can somebody find it? Somebody find it for me, please. So we can get an example of that kind of behavior being spoken. That woman, find that example, please. So that's not good. I don't think it's bad in heated situations to default to this kind of, like, HR department speak, but it depends on what information you're trying to present. Obviously, these expectations for a relationship are ridiculous. She's a surfer. He went after her knowing that she's a surfer. So then he's like, I'm really disappointed with how you haven't conformed to my expectations vis-a-vis my boundaries of you surfing with men, modeling, posting pictures of yourself in your bathing suit. Like, it's like, okay, so, like, why go after her then? And the reason for that is because a lot of controlling guys like finding strong women, and then putting them in a box, basically. Like, I think there was a quote that from a movie that someone put in a Twitter post where it's like, you know, a lot of men like submissive women, but they're not. Or a lot of men want to have a submissive woman, but they don't go after submissive women. They go after strong, independent women and try to break them into being submissive, because it's the process of taking a strong woman and domesticizing her that a lot of these guys fetishize as like a tactic of control over women. Because simply finding a woman who's just kind of naturally submissive, of which there are plenty to be fair, isn't like, that doesn't scratch the itch the way like breaking down a stronger woman does. Now, I think that behavior is psychotic. If this is like some kind of, I don't know, if this is some kind of like long form kink dynamic or whatever, then I don't know, talk it out with your partner. But in terms of like a guideline for how you handle your relationships broadly, like I think that's pretty bad. It's not very good. Seems to be what he's doing. A lot of people have just been arguing over whether or not he's been good in making his desires clear. He has. The problem isn't the clarity of Jonah Hill's communication. The problem is with what he's communicating. You don't get a pass on bad behavior because you've expressed it in a kind, considerate, clear way. It helps to express it in those ways, but that's mostly about avoiding miscommunication. If you are unambiguously communicating bad things, then, you know, that's that, right? Are TikTok links okay? Did you find it? Let me see. Oh, I think you found it.
I've noticed you've been withdrawn and haven't wanted to hang out recently. What's going on? I've treasured our season of friendship, but we're moving in different directions in life. I don't have the capacity to invest in our friendship any longer. Is it something I did? This feels really sudden. I get that it might be hard to understand, but I've been reevaluating many areas of my life recently, including my ability to be a good friend to you. I just want to be honest and upfront so I don't disappoint your expectations. I'm sorry if this feels painful and confusing. I wish you all love and success.
This could be like a bit, but I don't think it is. This account seems sincere. This one just went viral for being especially egregious. Is she always like this?
What does compassionate self-talk look like? Is that voice in your head kind and compassionate, or is it cruel and critical? Most of us talk to ourselves in a way that would make people cringe if they heard it out loud. Instead of, I can't believe you did that. That was so stupid. Try, okay, I'm human. I can just try that again. When you do something embarrassing.
Okay, I don't know. I just think it's worth noting that the therapy talk shit can be a good way of like communicating something calmly and clearly. But sometimes it can be quite bad. Sometimes it can actually be very bad. If you're having a heated conversation with somebody with a lot of like heavy emotional investment from both ends, and one person just kind of withdraws into this this like distanced professional speak, I think it can come across as quite disrespectful or psychotic. And apparently they have a couples therapist who gave the lady here advice. This is from a text to another friend. She had me agree to paddle away from any man that approached me in the water, no matter his age. I was instructed to say, I'm going to go talk to my boyfriend, then paddle away. So, in my personal opinion, if you're a couples therapist and the guy says, yeah, I don't want my girl ever talking to men while surfing, I don't think you should say, okay, here are some strategies on how to avoid ever engaging with men while surfing. The power dynamic here is kind of unclear, because any couple therapist that Jonah Hill would go to would be like a Hollywood couple therapist, probably one who knows Jonah Hill and is being paid a lot of money. And I kind of get the feeling that a couple therapist would be inclined to provide advice that Jonah Hill would like, because that would mean continued clientship from him and his large amount of money. You know what I mean? Like if she said something like, whoa, that doesn't seem reasonable. If you don't like that, then, you know, you should bail or whatever. Jonah Hill would probably not pay for continued sessions, but just a guess of mine. Vosh, read more into it. Your perspective may shift a bit. Interesting, Spacebox Man. In what way? Read more into it. I read the article that these pictures were attached to. Is there more information I don't have? I'm not heavily invested in this. I want to know, is there more info I can look into? Read harder? I'm reading as hard as I can, but I think I've read all the letters on the image here. Read it backwards? Okay, I'll sure, if you're not going to reply, I'll Google. Hold on. Jonah Hill text. What about the Washington Post? That doesn't have more images. I'm fairly certain there were more screenshots. Okay. Where? Okay, if you want to link something, you can. The only thing that I'm not entirely sure I understand is like what the girlfriend said in response to all of this. Because if Jonah Hill laid out his ridiculous and, in my mind at least, overly controlling demands of her, and then she responded with, "Yeah, sure, let's do that." I guess, like, were those texts from the beginning of the relationship? Was there a financial dynamic? Like, I'm very curious. The texts she leaked were from 2 years ago. What, why didn't she leave? You know? Oftentimes there are, complicating factors when it comes to, especially with, like, powerful men. So I'd be curious if there was, not to say he, like, threatened her or anything, though that's certainly not off the table. That happens all the time in relationships. But, be curious what exactly led to that dynamic being perpetuated. A lot of text screenshots here. All the same, even if she behaved stupidly and agreed to a relationship that she shouldn't have been in, I still think that Jonah Hill's demands are abusive. I don't think it's okay to be like overly controlling just because you find a partner who's okay with it. There are plenty of people who are weak-willed, subservient, and permissive and will allow themselves to be mistreated. I don't think that means it's not mistreatment. I do think that it's unreasonable to say stuff like, you can't interact with men to a partner. Even if they agree, I just think it's bad to ask that or to demand that or whatever. Okay, more images. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can get this not on the left side of the screen. Is there no way to... Dude, Reddit's, like, inbuilt image thing is so bad. I hate it so much. Reviving a pic I took down by request of a misogynistic narcissist. Okay. Toxic. Okay. Not relevant. Her talking with other friends. I feel like she's releasing this information in a fairly, like, silly way. Like doing a gigantic Insta story dump where you just dump a ton of texts with Jonah with other people rather than, like, a statement or, like, yeah, I don't know. It speaks to me of, like, immaturity personally, but, not everyone handles stuff like this in the best way, I guess. I don't even know to what extent she's been subjected to abusive behavior. I'm not even calling Jonah Hill an abuser because I don't even know the dynamic of their relationship. All I know is that those texts were bad. That's it. Without any more knowledge about how exactly the relationship panned out or anything specific happening in it, I can't even make the claim that he's an abuser. Only that, like, the dynamic that he expressed he wanted would be one I consider abusive. Yeah, it does seem like she's just venting. It laughed when I said it was really hurt or said it was weird. Dude, same, like, haha, wow, that's crazy. You're upset by that or upset about. That's wild. You're so self-centered. For me, it was also, I'm not dumb. I see you using me for my money to gain clout and attract men with your slutty Instagram pics of you surfing in swimsuits because you have some fucked up internal desire for male validation. If this is an accurate characterization of what Jonah Hill said, this would be more like manipulation through therapy speak, right? Like, rather than saying you're a slut, it's like, well, you have this internal desire for male validation, probably tied to your childhood trauma, bipolar disorder, hypersexuality. Right. Manipulation station, toxic gossip train, da 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 da, misinformation. See, I don't know why Instagram people do this, where in order to convey information in a story, they'll add like 7 sources of text. Okay. Now we just have memes being peppered in. Okay. We have memes peppered in with like the actual info. It's literally just like Instagram brainworms. Ugh. Okay. Somebody responding and saying they appreciate them sharing this info. Okay. Talking about narcissism as a trait. That's it? Okay, I didn't get much information from this. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't get a particularly mature or well put together vibe from her based on the way she's talking about this personally. Again, I know that, like, you know, if you're a victim of abuse, it can be complicated but it seems like a lot of this stuff is being done in retrospect or like about old information. And if you're going to do that, like just dropping texts and then like memes. Yeah. I know it's venting, but like when you're venting and also accusing a celebrity of abuse, just freely intertwining them. I don't know. It doesn't mean she's evil or manipulative or anything like that. She might be trying to get internet points. Everyone is trying to get internet points anytime they do anything on the internet. If you're posting something online, you're probably looking to get some kind of attention from at least some people. I don't think that like delegitimizes what you're saying. If she was doing this only for attention, that's a pretty strong claim that I don't think is warranted. Unless there's some info, I don't know. Again, my broader point here is just about the nature of the messages that we did see from Jonah Hill, which just, you know, come up. I mean, like, look at this. Yeah. Like, I didn't even read this one over here on the right. This is from Jonah Hill. Take some accountability and operate with respect. It's that simple, because I'm tired of your attitude towards surf culture, that contest, and that place, because I deserve respect, period. I have been more than patient, and then shit like this is still here. Fuck that contest, fuck that place, and fuck not respecting me always in every situation within surf culture, or you don't get it, and you don't get me. It's hurtful and unacceptable to me. Get it? I don't know if you get it or care or give a shit about that shit more than me, even after Dr. Stern, that's the couples therapist, has said it loud and clear. So he does come off like an unhinged psycho here, who's having a narcissistic power trip. It is impossible to look at Jonah Hill in a positive light through any of this. Whereas the worst that I can say of the lady is that she's immature and poorly considered in her response. That is the opposite of surfer vibes? Oh no, he is not demonstrating surfer vibes here. Not even a little bit. Anyway, it seems like she probably should have left the relationship earlier than he did, or earlier than she did, but she didn't. There can be a lot of reasons stuff like that happens, you know. Perfect relationships don't exist. Bad ones can take a while to end. Also, to the people who are saying, well, why didn't she leave? Here's another question. Why didn't he leave? He's the one who, in all these messages, is expressing unhappiness with the state of affairs. If she's not the partner that he was looking for because she won't stop talking to all men and give up her entire life to respect him, why didn't he leave? It seems like he was willing to deal with her, misbehavior in the context of of him continuing to discipline her, or demand more of her. So I think you could fairly argue, like, well, bro, why didn't you leave, right? Whatever the case is, you know, dumb. All those comedy guys from my childhood suck, don't they? Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen. Does Seth Rogen suck? Has Seth Rogen done anything like super bad? He's kind of iffy. Well, but what? I thought he just did pottery and like smoked weed. Super bad? I haven't seen super bad. I don't know if there's a meme here. Seth Rogen actually dropped James Franco over Me Too shit. Seems good. It could be good, yeah. No, he's just a bit obnoxious. Okay, so he's not done anything really bad. Somebody just said he's bad too, and a lot of people were like, but you don't actually know. You just said because you didn't want to sound like you were defending a Hollywood star. You said without knowing anything. Okay, great. Thank you. Didn't Seth Rogen do some NFT crypto shit? Okay, to be fair, a lot of people did. Not everyone understands the whole like Web 3.0 grift thing going on. For a lot of people, it's just like, oh, this hot new trend. This is why I reassured people that like your favorite corporation or content creator isn't necessarily bad for getting into the NFT thing. A lot of them were persuaded into it by like soulless middle manager types that have like half their portfolio invested in crypto, who are trying to like push the tech as a way of boosting their, like, it's not like a willful, yeah, let's get in on Web 3.0 shit all the time. Sometimes it is, but oftentimes not always. Sorry, Web 3, not 3.0. But you would be bad if you did, though? Yeah, because I know how bad it is. And the NFT stuff is gone now. The worth of all the NFTs has dropped like 99%. People don't talk about NFTs anymore. It worked. We bullied it into, you know? Some people made off with a lot of money, sure. But that's how these pyramid schemes always go. It's just a quick bubble, you know? I suppose, Asmelia. Sorry, just trying not to cough. That's nice tequila sunset. People do like Biden. He's a friendly old man. Pikmin 4 soon. I'll probably play Pikmin 4 on my own, just because Pikmin has always been a very special series to me, and I kind of want to experience it on my own. I really, man, I still like Pikmin 1 a lot more than Pikmin 2 or 3. Pikmin 3 is a lot more mechanically interesting and fun to play on every level, but it misses out on something really important from Pikmin 1, which is like the wonder and mystery and loneliness of the first game. Do you guys remember how weird it was back in like, what was it, 2002, 2003? Just like being Olimar and just running around and having these little guys behind you and just having this whimsical music follow you as you get these little dolphin parts, and it's just, it all felt so self-guided. The only text you saw was from Olimar. But then in Pikmin 2, you're always getting barked at by your boss, And in Pikmin 3, there's like this story shit always going on. It's like, I don't know. I like Pikmin to be, I want it to be quiet, you know? I would love it, personally, if like there was a Pikmin game about Olimar, and he's stranded, and he's doing something other than like a ship-oriented task. Like maybe it has to do with rebuilding a machine on Earth, because the world that Pikmin were on is on Earth. It's post-apocalyptic Earth. So what if like he's curious, because he's kind of gone native a bit, and he's curious about some gigantic machine that's like kind of broken down on Earth, and he wanted to rebuild it, and the whole thing was him like gathering parts from all around to do a thing, you know? I don't know. I think that'd be really cool. Because that way you could have like kind of a new premise, and it could be mostly like solo based. It ends up being a nuke. That would be interesting. Who here has even played Pikmin? Nope. Really? Man, you guys are missing out. They recently remastered Pikmin 1 and 2 for the Switch. I highly recommend it. I really do. Pikmin 1 especially. Just a masterpiece. Look at how cute this is. Just look for a second, okay? Humor me. The time limit made me not enjoy the game. I get that. Time limits are like a very specific game enjoyment thing. I like the time limit in the first one. The sound design, bro? Oh, the sound design was phenomenal. Yeah. I think it's so funny that, like, I think you could fairly argue, even though it doesn't get considered within the ranks, because it's not like a multiplayer competitive game, but I honestly think that Pikmin 3 easily in the top 5 RTSs in history. I mean that. I really do. Pikmin 1 and 2 were great. Pikmin 3 honed out the mechanics enough that I think you could fairly... In single-player RTS, like, experiences, I would easily put it up there with StarCraft, Brood War, StarCraft 2, Warcraft 3, Command & Conquer... Yeah, like the good ones, you know? Pikmin 3 got rid of Swarm. Yeah, because they found a better thing to do. Good movement AI, where they don't fall off shit all the time. That's a deranged thing to say. No, I really mean it. It's so unique and interesting. This is Nintendo at its best. No, really, this is when I will, like, defend Nintendo. Because only Nintendo would have money and think, like, okay, the GameCube's coming out. We're going to come out with, like, a launch title. Okay, what are we doing? And it's like, okay, what if we just did a console-exclusive RTS where you're on a post-apocalyptic Earth commanding little vegetable dudes, and then it just ends up being amazing. Like that is a specific, unique Nintendo thing. Pikmin 3 was the mechanically fleshed out one the most, even if I like the vibes of the first one the most. Very good. Sorry. Bit of a divergence there. I really got to continue working my game. I think about it all the time. It looks ugly as fuck. It's more than 20 years old. It's a GameCube game. It's a GameCube game where you can simultaneously control up to 100 individual entities that move and attack and have a pathing AI on their own for the GameCube. No, that actually was very technically impressive at the time. That really was, though. I can't respect games older than me. Fuck you. Ban. Ban. Yes, the art styles age very well, for sure. Can you control more in Pikmin 3? No. Well, by Pikmin 3, it was released on the Wii U, so graphical capabilities weren't the issue. That's 2 console generations ahead. The 100 Pikmin limit was a gameplay limitation at that point. Considering you move your Pikmin individually by throwing them, having like 500 would just mean throwing them takes forever, and charging would be the only way to really manage them. Hard mode in Pikmin 3 limits you to 60 Pikmin. I want to try that. I think that'd be fun. 60 Pikmin. I think that'd be fun. Yeah, a nice little challenge. Can't swarm kill stuff quite as quickly. I don't know what demon, Replin. Not sure, Epson TV. Okay, sorry. Close this. Close that. Close this. Gotta find the old one, too. Gotta find it, gotta find it. Oh, has anyone seen Asteroid City, by the way? No spoilers. Any good? Yeah, it's good? Cool. Ah, did they delete the original video? Oh, these cowards. Ah, come on. Hold on. That's not an upload of the video. Come on. Yeah, Desantis. Yeah. Hold on. I'm trying to find like a re-upload of it, but they keep being trash. Because it's really funny. I'm really sorry. I'm like looking actively. Come on, guys. The first Ron DeSantis homophobic video. I need you guys to help me out with this one. You know how bad I am at searching for things independently. You all have your sources. Yeah, the cuck deleted the original one, but there has to be a re-upload.
Now to the race for the White House and a video share.
Sorry. Does this show it? Okay, this shows it. Thank God. Okay. Remember how I keep saying that DeSantis is cooked and there's a 0% chance of him beating Donald Trump in the Republican primary, pretty much no matter what happens? Well, okay. While I was away sick, Ron DeSantis dropped the funniest anti-Trump ad. A lot of people have called it always online. Even though DeSantis defended it, the group that originally posted it to Twitter ended up deleting it, so it took me a second to find like a re-upload of it. But look at this, okay? So this video was bad enough that it actually led to internal conflict within the Republicans for how homophobic it was. Okay, just take a look. This is it, but it has copyrighted music. Is it copyrighted? Why they gotta hate? Why they gotta hate?
I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens.
But Caitlyn,
The premise of the ad is that Donald Trump is homo. And the thing that makes this ad special is that it was made by a 17-year-old neo-Nazi incel whose entire personality is based on Patrick Bateman memes.
Jenner were to walk into Trump Tower and want to use the bathroom, you would be fine with her using any bathroom she chooses.
That is correct.
In the future, can transgender women compete in Miss Universe?
Yes.
Make
Based.
America great again.
This is an official ad from the DeSantis War Room. I know it seems like a Reddit tier, Patrick Bateman Nazi politic meme. This was real. Presidential candidate.
Harshest, most draconian laws.
Oh, so I was made by a meme account retweet. Sorry, not made. Endorsed by. Retweeted by them. I'll take that.
That literally threatens
And then defended directly by Ron DeSantis.
trans existence.
congratulations, Ron DeSantis. Mission accomplished. You win.
Wait, what was that? There we go. It looks really convincing, doesn't it? Now, okay. This actually led to a lot of controversy, including the deletion of the video. Now, if you've been reading any of the snippets that have been put up here, so first of all, it's worth noting, this video can only be understood by people who are like 25 or younger, okay? This is not the GOP demographic. You might notice that the argument being made by this video is that he is proudly homophobic, that Ron DeSantis is proudly homophobic. The governor does not care. The Governor DeSantis is on a crusade. Florida's anti-LGBT laws are unwarranted, un-American. The basic premise is all those things that they say about Ron DeSantis, about him hating gay people, they're right. He does. We're doubling down. That's the premise. That's the thrust of it. Trump is gay. Trump likes trans girls. He's gay. He's a loser. Look at him. Celebrates trans women. I really don't think Donald Trump is authentically that anti-LGBT. I don't think he cares. He's partnered with too many gay and trans people in his life, high on cocaine, to really care. It's like, he is, don't get me wrong, but it's not like a thing he dedicates a lot of thought to, I don't think. Ron DeSantis will do or say whatever he needs to, of course, to achieve power. And this is essentially like, this is the GOP equivalent of when brain dead internet poisoned lefties will like do the kill cis men bit as like, oh, all the things you say about us, well, they're true. And it works about as well for the GOP. The consequence of this was an enormous amount of blowback for the DeSantis campaign, including from most Republicans, because it's an anti-Trump ad. The planning here. Now, this wasn't an errant retweet. DeSantis not only defended this, but actually doubled down on it. It led to widespread criticisms from the inept and largely powerless log cabin Republican group or gay Republican group. But it was also severe enough that it had a lot of like, I wouldn't call them moderate Republicans, but I would say they're not fully committed to the bit, saying, wait, hold on a second. We don't like, hold on, America. We don't actually like despise gay people. We think trans rights have gone too far. We don't actually, wait, hold on. DeSantis. Hey, man. Like it would effectively be the equivalent of like, if you can imagine, a bunch of, a DeSantis ad where a bunch of liberal commentators have said like, DeSantis is racist, DeSantis is a white supremacist, and the ad's like, yeah, we are, like Patrick Bateman with the headphones on, yeah, like, it's essentially on that. It's like, well, are Republicans racist? Yes, they are, but you would still have a lot of Republican officials going like, dude, what are you, dude, Come on, man. Come on. Bro. So that happened, and it's very funny. But that's not the only thing that happened, because they doubled down. This is from Never Back Down. They're a group supporting Ron DeSantis. 441 likes and 2 million views. What's this video going to contain?
I talk about transgender, everyone goes crazy. Who would have thought 5 years ago you didn't know what the hell it was?
Remember that quote?
Donald Trump made a controversial decision to allow a transgendered woman born as a man to compete in the Miss Universe beauty pageant.
He decided to lift a ban on a transgender woman from entering his Miss Universe competition.
I said, let her run. And I think I made the right decision. I feel fine with the decision.
I always knew since I was about, 4.
Really?
And I started my therapy and hormone therapy when I was 14.
Must have been terribly painful.
Surgery is pretty intense.
It was obvious to us that she was entitled to compete.
Would you feel it would be fair that a transgender woman wins the Miss USA title over a natural-born woman?
There's so many surgeries, and I do accept that.
She gave a great answer, and she really did a great job.
In the future, can transgender women compete in Miss Universe?
Yes.
And where was Donald Trump a decade ago? He was on the complete opposite side of this issue.
So they're actually correct, because I really do think that if you talk to Donald Trump about trans women like 15 years ago, he would have been like, he would have said something like, well, I like anal, you know? These trans women, they say they have little dicks, little smaller dicks than me, and that's okay. As long as they're smaller than me, I don't really mind. If they're bigger than me, then maybe I do mind a little. You know, like I don't think he would care. I don't think he would just see hot women. I don't think he cares. It's purely like a Greek attitude towards sexuality. Oh, he's 1,000% fucked a trans woman. Whatever. So they're correct in arguing that Trump is a hypocrite. They're correct. That is a correct argument. That doesn't mean it's an effective one. Remember how we've seen before in, like, from the failure of the midterms for the GOP all the way up to now, polling has shown Republicans are not as committed to the anti-trans culture war talking points as Ron DeSantis seems to think they are. These are the DeSantis arguments. They are fully committed to the anti-trans talking points, and they're doing so with such severity that they're using it as a schism between him and the more popular presidential candidate. As in, they are trying to favorably distinguish themselves from Trump by relying on an over-adherence to the set of talking points that we know are already oversaturated and not responding, or not getting good responses from the voters. It's insane. It's like actually really bad strategy. Now, of course, this is from the Never Back Down group, but it's worth noting that Ron DeSantis has endorsed this. It is not just Ron DeSantis fans who are going whip wild with this. He has stated directly he's totally fine with it. It's been retweeted by his team. They're not distancing themselves. Sorry about that. They're not distancing themselves from it at all. And it's bad politics. It's gotten a bad response from like everyone. A lot of DeSantis voters don't really seem to care because, again, oversaturation on the trans thing. A lot of, basically all Trump Republicans are opposing it because it's anti-Trump and he's the more popular candidate. And it's kind of disgusting and revealing to the majority of Americans as well. Because for a long time, Republicans have been trying to push this, we don't hate gay people, you know, even though they all publicly want to get rid of gay marriage. We just think trans rights have gone too far. So for them to just go like, no, actually, boom, boom, we do hate gay people, boom, boom, like it reframes things, makes it a lot easier to attack them. DeSantis is cooked, man. It's just not gonna work. Oh, is this another one? There's a third one? Yeah, this is from 2 days ago. We will not. This is from the campaign manager, right? That's campaign manager. Oh no, first like DeSantis. I'm stupid. Sorry. Is there another Casey who's the campaign manager, or am I thinking of a different woman? That's his wife. We will not allow you to exploit the innocence of our children to advance your agenda. When you come after our kids, we fight back. We are no longer silent. We are united. We are mamas for DeSantis. What was that mom-oriented political group that was recently found out to be just actual Nazis? Which one was that? It was the Moms for Something, or like the Moms for Liberty. That's right. That's right. Yeah, they were found to be like just Nazis. Founded by former Florida school board members as well. How nice. Do they have any direct connections to the DeSantis? Extra S in there. Ah. Moms for Liberty has praised Florida Republicans such as Ron DeSantis, referring to him as the parents' governor on social media. DeSantis spoke at Moms for Liberty's first national gathering in Tampa, Florida in July 2022. Nice. It's all a psyop by them against them. They were fake coughing during a moment of silence for Holocaust victims. Yeah, I know they've cited Hitler a bunch of times. Were they really doing that? Hold on. Moms for Liberty coughing Holocaust victims. Is there like a video of that? There is.
And I'm going to use the rest of my time for a moment of silence in response to Moms for Liberty, who I think a few of you guys have already left, so it must not be that important to be here, who quoted Adolf Hitler yesterday in their newsletter, stating that he who controls the youth controls the world.
Disgusting.
Moment of silence to think about what that means today.
Oh, that's so pathetic.
They're like actual Nazis. Like quoting Hitler, a lot of them have 88 in their Twitter handles. Yeah. And they support Ron DeSantis.
In America, we've witnessed a lot and put up with.
This is one picture from the Folsom Street Fair, taken in 1837, will live on forever. That when human society ends in a nuclear fireball, the one remnant from our culture that we will keep is this photo. It was a fake photo too. This is edited. This is edited, right? Or is it? I don't even know. It's old. It's an old picture. It's not even from a pride parade. I don't even know how it's edited. Did they just Photoshop the girl in? I think another one was edited, but this one's been around for ages. It's from the Montreal Pride. No, this was from the Folsom Street Fair, I think. Another one is edited. So this one, just some fucking kid got, like, wandered in too far or whatever. It's not good. It's the Folsom Street Fair, but, like, you know. Sorry, guys. 18 years ago, a kid wandered into an adults-only place, and for that reason, we'll have to commit another Holocaust.
And put up with enough.
You guys gotta go.
Okay.
We've been forced into silence. Into compliance.
Thankfully, babies crying on flights was not an issue before the introduction of masks. By the way, I don't think mask mandates are a thing on flights anymore. The last flight that I took, no one was wearing a mask in the airport or flight. So we're just flagrantly like traveling back in time to complain about stuff. Yep, literally, just like
told that we must trust the science.
Indoor and outdoor venues should be closed.
We've been told that we must deny truth, back down, and look the other way.
Again? Oh, okay, wait. Somebody said that this was edited in, the pride flag in her hand. I think it was, because I've seen versions of the picture where there's no pride flag in her hand. So they edited that in. That's being used in official Ron DeSantis. Yeah. Also, wait. Was there always 3 guys here? Does this picture even real? I'm getting Mandela affected right now. Yeah, it's getting like more edited with time. I've seen it with 2. I think there are multiple fake versions of this. Yeah, well, it's something on multiple levels. This is a psyop. I don't even care to know on what levels exactly. I don't even care. I don't care.
Enough is enough. When you come after our kids, we fight back. Because there's nothing we won't do to protect our children. They're not yours.
These are our kids.
Our nation's children are all our children.
We will not allow you to exploit their innocence to advance your agenda. We are no longer silent. We are united. And we have finally found our fighter.
We're not going to let you oppose an agenda.
It's just all of that. And then it's this dorky ass dude who is this Mr. Incredible looking motherfucker. I'm sorry.
We're not going to let you oppose an agenda on our kids. We're going to stand up for our kids.
He'll do for America what he did for us in Florida. Schools open. Parents' rights defended. School choice universal.
The audio balancing on this is really bad. It's kind of tough to make out what she's saying over the music.
Critical race theory prohibited. DEI stopped. Child mutilation.
Wait, what is D? Am I forgetting an acronym right now? What is DEI? College. Oh, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay, gotcha.
Illegal. Girls' sports saved. Communities protected. Our economy growing. And freedom guaranteed.
But winning the fight in Florida is just the beginning.
So, again, to talk about like messaging and strategy here, remember how before I've talked so many times about how it's not enough to just go hate, 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 hate. You have to have like a clear vision of what you're building towards. This ad vaguely gestures at a better America by dedicating 98% of its runtime to the same culture war talking points you've heard a million times before, reusing the same photos of that fake Photoshop Folsom Street, whatever, complaining about mask mandates that haven't been a thing for like a year or whatever. And then at the very end, they're like, yeah, and we'll make the economy grow. You see, there's no commitment to any kind of like narrative or aspirational future. And this is something that even Trump does better. I mean, the Make America Great Again slogan has always been, you know, insincere and vague, but it is something. It is like a concept. DeSantis is completely committed to being the culture war warrior in the kind of way that wins you brownie points online from a dedicated group of extremists, but doesn't when it comes to like broader electoral turnout. And it's just a very always online campaign. Even the way this video is framed. Maybe this could be me reaching a little bit because I know campaign ads tend to have a very like bumper sticker theme to them in terms of being quick and punchy. But this is like a meme. Critical race theory prohibited. DEI stopped. It's like a meme video that you would have like a guy in a Hollywood voiceover bit, you know, like Mexico annihilated, drugs terminated. Like it's like, yeah, it's like a movie trailer vibe. It's silly. It's not serious. Like compared to this, I feel like a lot of Trump ads come across genuinely as, well, I can't say aspirational or sincere, but compared to this, maybe, you know, in a comparative sense, aspirational and sincere.
Winning the fight in Florida is just the beginning. We must protect parents' rights and the innocence of our children. We must restore sanity in our society. We need every mama and every grandmama in every corner of the country to stand up and fight back.
What is with the audio balancing here? Jesus.
By electing Ron DeSantis President of the United States of America. Join us by texting MAMAS to 512345.
it's genuinely hard to hear her. She's had so much work done. Yeah, that tends to be the case in situations like this. It's so bad that it's giving the Democrats in Florida new life, lol. They're such demons, it's turning people away down here. Yeah, we'll see if there's any, like, blowback towards Democrats in the 2024 election. It's impossible to say right now, but isn't the point to mobilize extremists? First of all, not if it doesn't win you the primary. And second of all, mobilizing extremists in a direction that makes them less palatable towards the broader electorate, not a good strategy. It's still worth pointing out that, like, if you talk to your average Republican, you're not talking to the kind of guy who resonates with, like, that first Ron DeSantis ad that we saw with, like, the Patrick Bateman. This is not the average, like, messaging you'll get from a Republican voter. Not even remotely. But, you know. The picture was actually from a pride parade, not Folsom Street Fair. Yeah. 18 years ago, a child wandered next to some guys in leather. That's why we need to do a Holocaust. Remember DeSantis is the literal virgin of the Chad meme in the Biden photo? You just linked me a bad photo, so no, I don't remember. The average Republican does not know the memes in the ads. Just a quick reminder. Okay? Hold on. Voter demographics polling. Give me the Pew Research. Pew Research. No, give me the... Here, the 2020 electorate. Thank you. A majority of Republican voters and half of Democrats are 50 or older, okay? Look, the reason that's more skewed than the actual population proportion of the country is because younger people tend not to vote as much. But in terms of 1829, this and this, and you can take a look, like, as time has gone on, from 96 to 04 to 12 to 19, the proportion of Republican voters that are age 50 or older has creeped upwards from 40 back in 96 to 51 in 19. That is to say, like, time is not working to the benefit of the Republican Party. It has creeped upwards somewhat for the Democrats as well, though certainly not to the same extent. Yeah, they're promoting ads that will only resonate with a demographic that is either committed to voting for them, online alt-right extremists, or definitely won't vote for them, young people. You get my point. Yeah, I know, A.D. Woodhouse. Remember to vote, kids? Yep. I think that might be the limit for me with regards to how much my throat can take in terms of talking. I need to take a break. I'm terribly sorry about that. But, you know, we're working on it. Like, we're building back up. We're covering the stuff. I'm going to hit the ad button, and then I'm going to read super chats, continuing to build up a massive load of... I'm edging the site donations. You know, as I'm one to do as a you know, streaming dominant. Let me hit the ad button. Beep. Big load. The more you... Hey, same as sake, Dr. Strength. The more you bring it up, the longer it'll take. Right. Les the Third, with the incredibly kind $20. FD & Co. had a Debate Done Right panel. Have you seen that sad shit, lol? After his weak pushback of Kidology's transphobic rant where he's like, you have to do more research, and she's just like, I did, and JKR is right? No. Wait, did FD Signifier try to do a let's show those debate bros how you're supposed to debate and then flub because it turns out it's not easy? Did that really happen? If that's the case, I would cover that purely out of spite. I would allow spite to take hold of me like the symbiote turning me into Venom. And I would cover that purely to mock him for not being as rhetorically effective as me. It was on Bad Bunny's channel. All right. Oh, to be fair, if he has a good point, if he makes a good argument, I'll praise him. But we'll see. Burrito Supreme and Tyler Carlson, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. True. Clement Kikik, thank you for the €5. Really, Ghost Trick Neck? I don't know anything about that game. David Henry, thanks to 5 Canadian. Didn't Tucker Carlson say he had the laptop from hell, or am I misremembering? No, you are correct. Tucker Carlson said that he had the Hunter Biden laptop, or he had, like, devastating evidence to prove its veracity, and then it got, like, lost in the mail, and then he just quietly stopped talking about it. It was very, very, very funny. Yes, I remember that. Cat in the Moon, thanks to $2. You have a beard care routine? No. Chuck Whiskey, thank you for the $10 and $5. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, a lot of crazy far-right people are obsessed with Brazilian jiu-jitsu or other kinds of martial arts in like a reclaiming our masculinity kind of thing. J-Man G, thank you for the incredibly kind $50. I really appreciate that. Sorry. This is why I stopped here. Boschman, I was wondering if you might be able to talk on singularity and tech at some point. I honestly don't have the brain power to dissect it. No worries if not, still heart you either way. To be honest with you, I think the only reason that people talk about the singularity as a concept is because of like science fiction books. I don't think that we have a grounded and technologically understandable like pathway to anything resembling the singularity. It just gets talked about a lot because it's like a cool sci-fi concept, you know? I mean, we'll see how things pan out, but oh, I'm dying. Mimikyu2, thank you for the $10. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right. I gotta not talk for a bit. Thank you. Seriously, I appreciate it. I gotta not talk for a bit, okay? I love you all very much. I'm streaming tomorrow morning. We're gonna keep doing that for a while. Sort of condition myself back into health. I'm going to host. I'm gonna host Lumi Roo. See Lumi streaming? Love me a Lumi stream. Go over there and be nice, okay? I'll see you guys soon. Sorry about the short stream.